Hello, Sandra Embleton here. I'm sitting around this afternoon and I got just was so peaceful and the presence of God came upon me. And it was just like, okay, you have to speak, you have to make a video. I go, okay. So in I go, put my makeup on. My one iPad's not charged, so I'm going, okay, why does this work? I always make my films on this. But I have my phone, so I'm using my phone. And let's see what comes through. There's a couple that are coming through, so let's just ask which video needs to be made first. Okay, I'm going to start just speaking, and I'll speak from my truth, which is the power that is the presence of God. It comes through, and my truth is the testimony to that presence. My truth is the testimony of that presence of God in me, because I'm experiencing it, so I know it. And you are not going to have the same experience at the same moment that I am having, but it's my willingness to share it is why I'm being guided to speak for it, because I'm willing to put myself out there and be in this position where I can listen and hear and speak what is to come forward. There, a little preamble. All right, let's get down to it. I've been away for a couple months up north. It took me 5 weeks, at least 6. I was gone for 8. It took me at least 5 to 6 of those weeks to be in nature and to release the fear energy that I was feeling down in the city. And once I started to be in nature, be in the water, walk on the stones, and just sit and listen, I started to follow Paul Butler's teachings and the advice that came through from Paul Butler, which was spiritual beings should be fasting for 16 hours a day. And it wasn't a hardship to do it. It just started happening to me. And I'd be so busy waking up in the morning and then sitting and listening and meditating and coming to the understanding and allowing myself to accept the thought that it mattered that I did, that it mattered that I meditated. And that somehow through this meditation, receiving the presence of God and being still with it it's always a challenge. You're arguing with your own mind. And it was, Sandra, it's more important that you sit in meditation and be still than anything. You're doing more good for God and God's people by practicing what you're good at. Oh, okay. So I'm up there with so little distraction. There would be moments up there of such quiet and peace. Like there'd be moments and I'd go, oh, can you hear that? There's nothing. It's nothing. It's actually no sound. And those are the moments I'd sit right down. And in myself, I would go, okay, I'm really going to listen to that nothing. And then you start vibrating higher and higher and higher and higher. And the more you start vibrating, the more I can hear God, the more I can hear what I'm being guided to do. So after that 5-6 week period, boy, I started writing. I started being able to channel some poetry again and just touch on some truths that I'd hear and I'd write it down. Not judging, just writing, just letting it come out of me. Now I'm going to share with you that after my time was coming up, and it was time for me to go home, I didn't want to leave. And the reason I didn't want to leave was I was in the fear that if I returned back to the city and there was a problem, what would happen if we got locked down, or they turn on 5G towers, or all these things that are looming as this could happen, this could happen, this could be it, you know. And that was a legitimate fear for me, and wanting to protect my family and maintain a property up north in case we had to flee the city. I made the decision to extend my stay for another 3 weeks. So that was on Saturday, and financially it was not a strong move for us. But I was convinced that, no, we needed to maintain a place up north. We needed to have a foothold, protect our family if anything were to go wrong, that we had a spot and we were safe. We were okay. And I pushed my husband financially harder than we could, but he listened to me and he agreed to let me stay. And I was very, very convinced that I should stay, and was hearing stay till November 22nd, and not knowing really why, but just hearing that that's what I should do. And now I'm going to bring another factor in. Last week I started watching somebody that I had not watched before. And this individual is a fairly famous individual, and had experiences with UFOs, and had experiences in his life where people were coming to him, foretelling his future, and telling him this is going to happen to you. And then down the road, discovering that exactly what these people were telling him would happen for him. And since I started watching his videos, I could speak to him on the inner. I could sit and have a conversation with him like he was sitting in the chair here. And he's a very definite individual. And he was very definite. He was saying, no, you're staying, you're staying. So I made the decision to stay on Saturday. On Sunday, all hell broke loose at the cottage. We had a storm up there. We had hail. We had snow. And I'm in a summer cottage, all right? It was, the winds were 90 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour blowing in on this little summer cottage, on the windows, on the doors, and I'm feeling the cold. I'm just absolutely going, whoa, these winds, whoa, you know, but there's my family. No, I'm going to stay, and off they go. And head home, and now I'm there by myself, and I'm making myself something to eat after everyone's gone, and those winds were pounding on the windows. I'm going, oh, it's really cold. Hey, it's really cold up here. Anyway, I ended up going to bed, and next morning I got up, Monday morning, and beautiful meditation, very quiet for the whole day. And I was just so peaceful and just enjoying it so much. And then that afternoon, I spoke to a friend, and I was deliberating some choices that I was thinking of making in my life. And then I ended up eating some fruit, and the next thing I knew, here I am moving into my higher goddess self. Here I am declaring, as the sun sets and the sky is filled with purple and pink and all these beautiful cloud formations, and it's the night before a big day for the US, for all of us in the world. And I just declared and sang that this is the end of the darkness. This is the end of the darkness on the planet. Goodbye to the darkness. And as I'm looking, there's this giant bat, black, gray bat in the sky. And I'm looking at it, and bat represents a death and a rebirth. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, goodbye, goodbye, darkness. And I was waving goodbye, goodbye, evil, goodbye, greed, goodbye, anger, goodbye, selfishness, goodbye, fear, goodbye, mistrust, goodbye, cynicism. And welcome in peace. Welcome in God. Welcome in the Christ. Welcome in all that is good. Welcome in the 1,000 years of peace, because today it starts. Thank you, God. And I was singing and I was praising God, thanking Spirit, thanking Universe for the beautiful world we have. And the next thing I know, like the sun's down, the clouds are forming. I got my camera, I run out and I take this picture of the sky. And in it is a crown. It's a beautiful, huge crown lit up with all the purples and the reds and the pinks and the grays and all the colors. And this crown is this huge crown in the sky and the clouds showing itself to me. And I'm understanding the crown has returned. Christ, consciousness, the Christ himself is now free to walk the earth. So then I go and sit down, just sitting there saying to myself, wow, that was cool. I didn't think that was going to come through, but it did, right? And as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, the fan on the fireplace was rattling and rattling and rattling and rattling. And I'm in a small cottage, so I'm hugged up beside this fireplace trying to keep warm, and the fan goes on the gas fireplace. And now it's like, and you're sitting there going, holy crap, here I am in this little room, freezing cold. And then I went to the washroom and the toilet wasn't flushing, and I tried to fix it, and it broke. And I'm going, oh crap, right? So now I go back and the winds are blowing and I'm cuddled up in this little place and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden it was like, boom. I'm not staying here anymore. I gotta go. And it's like, what? And this energy, this feeling of, you gotta go. You gotta go. I gotta go. I'm not staying here. I'm not investing this much finance into sitting in this little cottage that is not, it's not winterized. But it was more than that. It was all the physical reasons of why I should leave presented. But what was on my heart was all of the spiritual reasons. And I hear that I received the knowing, and it was enough that you declared that this time is over. It's enough that you declared an end to the darkness and a welcoming in of the Christ. I go, oh, like, okay. And then all of a sudden I started to realize, well, why did I want to stay on in the first place? Where was that decision coming from? Two things. One, I had heard before I even signed on to this place that I should stay to the 22nd. And then that other person that I started hearing last week, his voice was saying I should stay, and I was listening to it. And then between then, like when I heard him on Thursday, Friday, to sitting there now on Monday night, then I had watched a couple more of his videos. And as I did, I realized the cynicism. I also heard more of his belief system. And then I questioned myself. I said, well, why were you listening to him? Why were you basing your life and your decisions on this man's communication and his advice, when the truth is, there's an imbalance. There's no love. There's cynicism, and cynicism is as far away from love as you can be. And when without that female-male counterpart to balance, you can become off balance. That's why behind us we've got the Shiva, the Shakti, is because it's about the female-male balance. And here I was listening to a source that was out of balance. And it's like the awareness came to me. And I went, oh, I was making decisions based on fear. I was being afraid to go home. I was being afraid God wasn't going to protect me and I had to run and pack and move and do something other than I was. Because as much as most people right now are trying to prepare us and help us for anything, where you are is where you're to be. And I realized I was being in the fear to make a decision. I was using fear as the basis of my decision. And it was just like, bang, gotta go. Gotta go. And the people who I was renting from were very kind and very understanding, refunded my money because I was only there one extra night. But also it was my experience too. I hadn't been there in the winter, realizing very quickly, not a winterized cottage, you gotta go. But there's more than that. There's always more in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, you look for what is God. And what is God was, you did your job. You did what you're here to do. Your job here is done. Boom, the energy left. Boom, gotta go. It was that fast. I made the decision on Monday night. I was home Tuesday night. All packed up, gone. I returned home. And I'm sharing this because I'm hearing, when we let go of our desire to be perfect, when we let go of our desire to be right, when we acknowledge that there's time when we fall into the drama, when we acknowledge that, yes, I too can fall and come from fear, best intentions in the world, but truthfully, when you make any decision coming from fear, it's usually not the right one. We make our best decisions when we come from love. I brought all that peace home that I collected when I was up north. And yesterday, I've been guided to sit on the front lawn, and I just heard put your feet on the ground, and I put my feet on the ground, and I just let all that beautiful, peaceful energy come through my feet and start spreading this beautiful pink blanket of peace all over my neighborhood, all over my town, all over my city, all over my province, all over my country, and then rolled that beautiful pink blanket down to the States, down to Hawaii, up to Alaska, covering all of the United States with love and peace. And then was rolling it down towards Mexico, and it stopped. And what that blanket of peace and love was doing its job where it was needed. And I'm doing my job where I'm needed. And I'm hearing, right now, I'm feeling so peaceful where I am. And I did have to remove myself from the drama to find it. It might not be the same for you, but for me, having that time alone and having that time to be peaceful and be still and go deep within myself, it's like it resets your clock. It resets your clock. And it really reset my faith. Because I'm hearing, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, and I shall not fear. So if I have everything and I'm not afraid of anything, I can go wherever he leads me, because it's going to be beside still waters, right? I love using those examples. That relationship that I have with Father, Mother, God, and their Son. That's what I can count on. And when you move into your center and you're knowing and you realize that's all I've got, all I have is what I know. All I have is where I'm led. And where you are sitting right now when you watch this or hear this, it's where you're meant to be. It's what thoughts and energy you bring into the moment, what dramas you're caught up in. It's like if you fly like the eagle. I saw 3 eagles when I was away too, by the way. Oh my God, so beautiful. Sun soaring in the sky, the sun reflecting off their white heads and their tails. Rise above the situation. Look high, fly high enough in the sky so you can see yourself and the situation we're in. And you know what? I'm home because I heard everything's going to be okay. You don't have to worry anymore. You don't have to pack. You don't have to run. You don't have to move to another country. You don't have to run away. Everything's going to be okay now. Something switched. Something shifted on Monday night. And it shifted to the point where fear was removed, coming from love, coming from clarity. And I'm making this video because I'm assuring you, you watch, it's all going to get better right now. Right now, we've all come together and the shift is on. And it's for the better. Everything is going to be just like we always wanted it to be. Loving one another, sharing our journey with each other, being compassionate for those who are not where you are. They're not meant to be. And when they are meant to be, they will wake up. Love them anyway. Love everyone around you as if it was God themselves, snuggled up beside you in your bed, sitting across from you at your breakfast. See everything as God showing up. God doesn't get things wrong. Everything that's happening is meant to. Stop trying to take his power from him. He's got it. Just relax. Sit down. Relax. Breathe in that energy. Everybody who's ever helped God or been a servant of God is with us right now on this planet. And when we wake up to that and we actually start being able to see them and know them, that is heaven on earth, because everyone is together in heaven. And heaven is the recognition of our whole soul's journey and who it is that we really are. And we are servants of God, just taking on different forms every incarnation. I'm just opening my heart. And I know, I'm just thinking and seeing all the people walking on my sidewalks, walking in my area, all the people that are at the checkouts at the store, the policemen, the firemen, everyone doing the best that they can. And I'm just seeing them and saying, I'm sending them love because that's the truth. Everyone who is working for the good, working for the God, working for the good, it matters. It matters. And it's always darkest before the dawn. But we're experiencing an expulsion and an elimination of all that isn't God, so that heaven can be present on earth. And that's where we're going. And I just want to share that. Hope that feels right for you. Thank you.